Hi everybody, it's Christina and thank you for joining me. So today we're continuing with the parchment theme, and this time we're going to use our parchment with our jelly plate. All I've done is use Distress inks and a brayer and my parchment. So this is a lot whiter than this, but it's this one that we're going to use. Now this is a heavyweight parchment and it's the one I use for most of my projects because it stands up quite well as a card and it's also useful as a backing. So this is what I'm going to use. So these are some of the cards that I've created using that thicker parchment. For this one I've just torn some strips and added it to my card, and I've used silver highlights on all of them just to get the look that I wanted. I normally do a parchment backing with a silver butterfly, but for these I've done a white backing and I've used the parchment to create the butterfly's wings. So a good tip to remember is when you've added your silver, you may get finger marks or bits of glue stuck to it. But the best thing to do is take a soft cloth when your glue is dry and just go over it. Now if you look, you can just see bits of glue on this silver. But once I've buffed it off with my soft cloth, it comes up lovely and shiny again. So I have my parchment here, I have my inks there. Now I've used pale inks on these and they've not really shown up very much, so I would suggest that you use darker inks on your parchment to bring out the colour a little bit more. You can use any stencils that you've got, or you may not wish to use a stencil. If you do use a stencil, we're going to need some baby wipes, and this is what is called scratch paper, and this is what I'm going to use just to clean my brayer off. Now you can use this on your cards, it does give you some really pretty papers when you've finished. Depending on what you use on your plate, it will stain. It's very clean, it is clean, but it is stained. So that will stick to there. This is a media mat from CraftStash. Now the colours I'm going to use are Chipped Sapphire, Villainous Potion and Picked Raspberry. And I'm going to put these colours down on my media mat, on my gel plate, and then blend them together. So we're just going to swipe these across the gel plate. So there's my first colour down. There's my second colour down. Now I'm not mixing the two together on the blend, not yet. And this is my third colour. And I'm just going to swipe this across the bottom. Now with my brayer, I'm going to roll it across, but I'm not rolling it backwards and forwards. I'm rolling it, lifting it up, rolling it and lifting it up. And that will spread the inks out evenly across my brayer. Now when I want to clean that off, I'm just going to roll this off on my scratch paper because I want the pink to stay reasonably pink, and we'll blend that into the lilac, into the purple, and again we'll clean it off. So bring your piece of parchment now to your gel plate and press it down. Now you can see through the parchment that it's picking up the ink that's on my sheet. So all I'm going to do now is just peel that off, and that will give me a beautiful blend on my parchment. So let's do that again on another piece, and this time we'll use something different. We'll use a stencil. So we'll put the inks down again. I'm not cleaning the plate off. I'm just keeping the inks down. I'm going to make sure that my brayer's clean, and we'll roll it across again. So So we'll blend that into the purple, clean it off, and then blend it in with the pinks. Now I'm no expert with the gel plate. I've not used it very much at all. So let's choose a stencil that we would like to add to this card. So I think we'll use this one. This is from the Platted with Love collection. Now once you lift that up, you will have that pattern on your gel plate. So pop your parchment down, pick up the print, give it a good firm press all over with your fingertips and pick up your print. And that's now what you've got on your parchment. So if you look, you've got two different effects. Clean my gel plate off. I'm just going to use a baby wipe. And because this is Distress inks, it's coming off nice and easy. The other underneath is when I use some acrylic paints. So we'll clean that off, we'll give it a dry. So I think we'll use different colours this time. We'll pop those on one side to dry, and we'll use some Mermaid Lagoon instead of the chip Sapphire. So we'll add this to the top. Don't worry about it being blotchy there. And we'll add the pick raspberry at the bottom. Now again, we'll use the brayer, just make sure it's clean. Now this is what I mean about using your scratch paper. That would make some beautiful flowers or a backing, or cut the shape out, and you can use that on another card. So we'll blend these together. We'll clean that off. And then we'll blend in the purple at the bottom with the pink. And again, we'll clean that off. So I'm going to use this Sunray one. I'm going to pop it down on there, and I'm going to press it into the inks. Now you can take a print off that if you wish. So we'll take the parchment and we'll press it down into the strips where the ink is. So when you take that off, that is what you will have. When you remove the stencil, you have that pattern in your inks. So we'll take another print from that, and we'll just press that down. We'll lift that. And that's the pattern that we've got. So we've got the reverse of this one. And that's really pretty. So now I'm going to keep that on one side, let that dry. I'm going to clean this off now for the last time. I'm not making any more. I'm just going to show you what I can do now with the parchment pieces that we have. So those are the papers that we've made in this particular session. This has used a stencil on it. This has used just the bits in between the stencil, and these two are just plain. I'm going to use this and the baby wipe. And I'm just going to place my stencil where I want it and make sure it doesn't move. Tape it down if you wish, but just go over it lightly with your baby wipe. Now once you've done that, you can move it to a different area. We'll add a little bit more up here. Now once that's dried, that pattern will come through and you will be able to see it on your parchment. So now you can trim that down and use that as a background panel to your cards. So to make my card I have a 5x7 top folded card, and I've cut this down using the curved edge, the rounded edge dies, and that's going to sit on the front of my card. But I've also cut myself a frame from these two dies. Now using the die that goes in the middle of that, I'm going to cut the centre out of this panel. So there it is now cut out, and I've added foam tape to the back of this silver card, and this circle is just going to sit around that edge. Now into the middle of that I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and I want it up towards the top right hand corner. So now I can move that out of the way. I'm going to pick that up with the lid. I'm going to go over this with some anti-static because I'm going to stamp it in black, and then I'm going to heat emboss it with clear powder. With your favourite leaf die, cut some of the parchment in the leaf shapes and some of the silver, and I'm just going over this with a little bit of green just to blend it in. I've cut myself lots of flowers in the lilac from another piece of the parchment that we coloured, and I'm just going to add these to my card. So there are my flowers in place, and now to each of the centres I'm adding in a small pearl. Now you could, if you wanted to, add some glue underneath those, because under those flowers it won't show. So we'll just lift that a little bit and we'll just pop some glue under there just to keep that in place. So there's our finished card for today, using parchment, flowers and leaves and the backing. The bit that we cut out of there, don't waste, you can use that on another project. They've all been highlighted with silver, some have got butterflies on them, others have just got swirls. But I've used a heavy duty parchment and I've used the jelly plate to create the look. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please join me on the next one. And why not subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, then you'll always be aware when I add a new video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.